I recently came across this video from Unnamed Explorer about this nice water shader he created in Unreal Engine, and I wanted to try to recreate this exact effect in Blender. And this was my result. To be honest, I was really happy about it and it's quite satisfying to look at it, and now I will show you exactly how to do it step by step. You can also use this material for other objects like this water sphere render I created, and I have to say it's really funny to play around with it. So let's get started. Alright, just for the idea, we want to have a wave shader that flows outwards and just some noise in there, which wiggles a little bit around. And this should distort the water to create this bump effect. And then we just plug this into a nice water shader to round it off. I don't go too much into detail about the water shader itself. For this, you can check out one of my last videos where I created a really nice water shader for Blender. Alright, let's start out with a simple plane and just go into the shader editor and create a new material. For now, we don't need the principal BSDF. We can just add in a glass BSDF for now and plug this into the surface. Change the IOR to 1.363. Which is a water material. To see a little bit more, I go into the shadings tab right here. Now first we will start out with the wave texture node right here. If you press Ctrl, Shift and left click, you can just look at what this texture looks like. Right now those are stripes, so we'll change it from bands to rings and from the X direction to spherical. As you can already see, we have these nice looking spheres, but they are not centered in our center point. Therefore, I will select the texture and press Ctrl T. Make sure you have the Node Wrangler add-on activated, otherwise you won't get this mapping and texture coordinate shortcut. Now the texture coordinate, we will change it from generated to object, and this will move the center points into our origin. Now let's say our water doesn't drop directly into the middle of our plane. Therefore, we can select the cursor option on the left side right here and just select where our origin should be. Let's click right here. Let's switch back to select, go to object, set origin and origin to 3D cursor. This will set the origin to the 3D cursor we set right here, and the wave starts from there. Now in the wave texture, we can play around with the scale. Let's lower the scale a little bit to have bigger rings. I would also decrease the details just so we only have the rings. We can distort them a tiny bit. Also change the scale of this. Perfect. This looks fine for me. What we have to do now is animate the face offset to create this animation. Therefore, we can select the face offset and type in hashtag frame divided, let's say by 10 for now, and see how this looks. Let's press spacebar and we can see the waves go into the wrong direction and are quite slow. Therefore, we will select the offset again, and now we type in minus, so it flows into the other direction. And if you want it faster, we can type in a lower number. So let's type in 3. And press spacebar to see how it looks. And to be honest, this looks quite nice. It's a quite nice flow, and yeah, I'm fine with that for now. Right now, this is only a black and white texture. To change this to an actual bump map so we can see the distortion in the material, we have to add in a simple bump node, displacement bump node right here. Plug it into the wave texture. The wave texture should actually not plug into the normal, but into the height. And the bump node should then go into the normal texture of the glass BSDF node, so not into color. And yeah, this looks fine. We can already see some distortion, but if we just look at the bump node, we don't see that much of a color difference. Therefore, we can increase the distance to, let's say, 0.1, and we can already see we have a much bigger contrast. If we look at the glass BSDF now and press play, we can already see this effect is working. Normal water doesn't just behave like this, it looks a little bit boring. Therefore, I also wanted to add in a noise texture. This one right here. And let's also look at this. I also increased the scale here. I think I deleted the details, played around a little bit with the distortion, just to get this nice water looking effect. Now to animate this effect, we have to change it from 3D to 4D. The W value is quite sensitive, and to animate it, we can type in hashtag frame divided by, I think it was 150. So it's quite high, but if we press play now, we can see the distortion is quite smooth. I think maybe even too fast. So let's go for 200. Yeah, I think this looks super nice. Now to combine the wave texture and the noise texture, we will add in a math mix shader node, this one right here. Plug the noise into A, the wave into B, and the mix into the height of the bump. And if we look at all together, we can see we have some, let's see, some wiggles in there and the big waves. If the wiggles are too strong for you, you can change the mix value right here. If you move it up, we can only see the big waves. If you move it down, you can just see the wiggles. I think I put it somewhere around 0.6, 0.7. So we have a little bit of wiggles in the big waves, which is just a little bit more realistic. And to be honest, this was already it. I just played around a little bit with the water shader. As I said, I have a video talking about this. And for this water stream right here, I will not go too much into detail. If you also want a detailed tutorial about this, I can do this. But it's just driven with a noise texture as well, but plugged it into the alpha node. So some parts are transparent and some parts are solid, which gives this nice water effect. And to have the water running down like this, I added a displacement node and just did a cloud texture for this and animated the displacement going down. I also added some small particles coming out of the water stream just to make it a little bit more interesting. I had really fun playing around with it. And yeah, that was already it. You can use this texture for a lot of things, such as like a big waterfall dropping into a lake. You can use this exact method, just play around with the scale and the distortion, and you have a nice looking water effect. I hope you could learn something in this video. If you have some questions, just write them in the comments, and otherwise I will see you in the next video. Peace out.